Salutations, my friends, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of Factions of Freedom. This is a hoax. It's actually on the 3 Minutes to Midnight channel, and we were actually going to be streaming the episode we had earlier. It's called Why Christians Shouldn't Celebrate Christmas, and I assure you, you will find it informative. With that being said, let's get right into it.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of 3 Minutes to Midnight. My name is Lori Alexander, and I'm joined by Robbie D. Hey, Robbie.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing tonight?
What am I doing? I had a night off tonight. I watched, yeah, I watched Jack Reacher 2 with Tom Cruise. Yeah, and every 5 minutes I'm looking for something to see if there's any symbolism or any. Oh man,
Seriously,
yeah,
we are our own worst enemies when it comes to watching movies now.
yeah, but the old film was a psyop anyway. You know what I mean? That's what Hollywood is, you know. And there was some in there. I mean, but yeah, still, you know, I had
Right?
to watch Mr. Scientologist do his stuff.
Mr. Scientologist. I like that. I like that. I
Isn't
mean,
it?
I don't like that, but you know what I mean. You know
I
what I
know
mean.
it.
Well, I did a show earlier with Jeff.
Yeah.
Great show earlier with him, and my ankle's been really bothering me lately, so I decided instead of taking 2 Excedrin PMs, I would only take one, and it's a good thing because I just woke up a little bit ago. You guys can hear probably my voice. I'm still groggy, but I'm right.
It must go on.
It must. So here we are, 6 days away from my holiday that children look forward to just about all year long. All year long, we're looking forward. They look forward to celebrating.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, the day of Halloween.
Yep.
Yep.
All Hallows
All
Week.
Hallows Week. Yeah, All Hallows Eve. I know growing up as a child, it was always my favorite time of year. I got to eat candy. I wasn't really ever allowed it. I remember growing up, I thought candy was raisins. So when Halloween came, it was a special time and it was a special night. I got to dress up. I got to go out after dark. I got to dress up. I got to eat candy. So in the schools even, we were allowed to dress up in school, and we got our Halloween. We used to go trick or treating from classroom to classroom. So,
Mm.
um, you know, but yeah. But then uh, growing up, my kids too. I took my kids out trick or treating. You probably did too, didn't you, Robbie?
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
Yeah, it
did
did.
all that
Yeah,
stuff.
do all that
Oh,
stuff.
I
Yeah,
can hear
I can
myself
still I
in
can
the
hear
background.
myself in the background. All right, pop out and come back in.
Right, hold on 1 second. Just
Okay,
bear with me. All right, where are we?
there you go. So yeah, I mean, Halloween is. Are you going out or coming back in? All right, we'll give him just a second, guys. Hmm. There he is.
And I'm back in the room.
And you're back in the room.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I used to do a few. I mean, there was a couple of years we went out and did it. I mean, I wasn't really a great fan of Halloween, to be honest. It weren't something that really floated my boat. I mean, I did it more with my daughter. You know, you go go and do the dress her up, you know, in a witch's outfit and go door to door, knocking on strangers' doors and looking for sweets. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, this is Halloween, like Christmas, is celebrated worldwide. It's not like our Thanksgiving where it's celebrated, just here in the United States or on another day up in Canada. This is something that is worldwide. And like I said, I took my kids out. I can remember walking through snow on a couple occasions with my boys. You know, yeah, I did the whole 9 yards there. I even dressed up, as a matter of fact. It was during my what do you want to say? My discovery period in my life. I delved into other worldly realms. I wouldn't say religions, but well, yeah, I guess I would consider them religions. And so I did dress up. I would have the adults over. We would have cider, hard cider, and it was a big deal for a few years in my house. And then I decided to rededicate my life to Yeshaya, and things changed dramatically in my house. Dave and I have a Dave is awake. Dave understands. Dave is a Christian, and but Halloween is still a touchy subject here. He still insists that I'm going to last year we insisted that we buy candy, which was all right. We had a little argument. He wanted to pass out candy. I was thinking that probably we wouldn't get too many people in the neighborhood, and we didn't. We only got a couple. So this year he mentioned about a week ago that we were going to celebrate Halloween again, and I was like, no, I'm not. I told you last year that I didn't want to do it. I ended up having to participate just a little bit into it. I said, but I'm not doing it this year. Things have really changed in my life this past year, and I'm not going to destroy that. I'm not going to destroy that relationship. I'm not going to do something that I willingly know is wrong to pacify a man. I'm not going to do it. So I asked what day it was on. It's when is it actually? It's next
Monday.
Next Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
And he's not even going to be home. So I'm like, you're not going to be home. I'm not going to do it. And then he said to me, he says, well, Laura, he goes, how about if we pass out, religious tracts? And I said, if you can get me some in the next week, I would be more than happy to do that. I certainly would do that. And I would put a little piece of candy on it and give it to the kids. I would do that. It's blatantly, being, chipper and, oh, hello, look at this little ghost. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, look at the skeleton coming to the door. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Not going to do it.
No, it's not going to happen. No.
But here's the thing, guys. When was it? I'm going to pull it up on the screen. Last year, I wrote an article, and hold on a second here. You guys, whoops, no, I don't want that. See it up on the screen, images. If you type in to Google Images, why? Oops, can't spell. Christians should not celebrate Halloween. And the Google Images, and you scroll, you are going to come to this right here, this picture. And if you click onto it, it's an article I wrote last year. Or no, wait, 2014, 2 years ago. And it's titled, Why Christians Should Not Celebrate Halloween. This is my Exposing Satanic World Government. This is my website for the page. You'll see that this is was written October 20th, 2014 by Exposing Satanic World Government. And I'm going to actually just read it to you real quick. You can see there's me. My name, Lori Alexander Christian, because Christian was my married name. I've since divorced Mr. Christian, so I'm no longer Lori Christian, which was kind of funny, Robbie, because we would go to church and they would call me Sister Christian, and the Sister Christian song would go through my head for the next hour during church. It was pretty funny. Yeah. Oh, the memories, those horrible memories. Anyway, so it says, satanic rituals and witchcraft was given by the fallen angels. Their ultimate goal is rebellion against God and the total destruction of mankind. For thousands of years, it has been believed that on the night of October 31st, ghosts of the dead are able to return to Earth because the boundary that separates the living from them becomes thin or blurred. To commemorate the event, Druids built huge bonfires where people gathered and burned crops, animals, and even human beings as sacrifices to the deities. The ritual worshiped the deity Samhain, the Celtic lord of death. They believed Samhain allowed the spirits of the dead to return to their earthly homes for this evening. After the Romans conquered the Celtic regions, two Roman festivals were combined with Samhain. The first was Fernalia, which was a festival honoring their dead ancestors, and the second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. Pomona's symbol, apple.
Yeah.
October 31st is a high holy day to Satanists. It is the most important day in the satanic year. These are all traditions and rituals that God hates. In 2 Kings 21, verse 5 through 6, and he built altars for all the hosts of heaven in the two courts of the house of the Lord. And he made his son pass through the fire and observed times and used enchantments and dealt with familiar spirits and wizards. He wrought much wickedness in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. 2 Kings 21, verse 12, therefore thus saith the Lord God of Israel, behold, I am bringing such evil upon Jerusalem and Judah, that whosoever beareth it, both his ears shall tingle. Exodus 22:18 says, thou shalt not suffer to be a witch, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Deuteronomy 18, chapter 18, verses 9 through 13 says, when thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of the nations. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through a fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord, and because of these abominations the Lord thy God doth throw them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. Satan is pleased when people partake in the rituals that God hates. So how does he get people like Christians to acknowledge these holy days? Well, in 844, Pope Gregory IV institutes All Saints' Day, the official Catholic holy day to honor dead souls, to be held on November 1st. People began holding vigils on the evening preceding this day and called it. This would later be known as Halloween. Thanks to the Roman Catholic Church, the whole world now takes part in a holiday that celebrates satanic rituals that God hates. No, Christians should not be taking part in the satanic traditions of Halloween in any way, not even for fun.
Nope.
Some churches have attempted to rename the celebration the Fall Festival, but it is still Halloween, and the underlying purposes remain. Satanic rituals are meant to conjure demons and spirits and evil spirits. The origins of trick and treat tradition was that during Samhain, Druid priests would go door to door demanding food to be offered up to Samhain. If they were refused, they would speak a curse over the home. History claims that someone within the household would die within the next year. The custom of carving pumpkins and placing lights in them originated from Druid priests carving out turnips and putting a lit candle in them. They wore these around their necks as a spirit guide, which would get them to and safely through the spiritually and physically dangerous procedure, which included human sacrifices. This guide was known, now get this, as Jolk or Jack, a spirit that was supposedly restricted from heaven. It was this spirit that possessed the jack-o'-lanterns. So the next time you're carving your pumpkins, remember that you are carving the face of a demon and practicing witchcraft. You are performing a ritual meant to bring forth demon or evil spirits. Bobbing for apples is an act of worship of Pomona. You are on your knees paying homage to her. The world has accepted paganism over God's laws. So has the Catholic Church. Go into church and tell them Happy Halloween and they will embrace you. Walk in there and tell them to keep holy the Sabbath and you will be criticized. This is the kind of world we live in today. The whole world is promoting Satan's holiday, but be not of this world, be separate. Walk the path of righteousness and keep your eyes upon the Lord Jesus Christ, for the only way to the Father is through him.
Yeah. I can still hear me on your speaker. Yeah. It's a little
Right.
echo. Yeah. You need to
Take over for just a second and talk about some of the stuff. I'll be right back in.
Okay. Well, a lot of Christians would like to say, well, a lot of people say that, oh, well, Halloween was before Christianity and whatnot. Well, yeah, in a way it was, but that still doesn't mean that you've got to observe it, because, you know, like in the Old Testament, as in Second Kings, you know, you're warned not to have any, you know, like I say, do not partake in the works of darkness, and that's you know, that's exactly what it is. You know, as I was just saying, Laurie, you know, the great excuse a lot of people say is that, oh well, Halloween preceded, it was before Christianity. Well, yeah, of course, but you know, this is a battle that's been going on from time way before, you know, and like as the old says, you know, you do not partake in none of this, you know, because it is satanic. It's satanic at the core.
Exactly. EJ Clinton from Factions of Freedom is going to join us. EJ was kind of late popping in, but that's okay. We haven't really gone too far. Yeah. We're gonna wait for EJ to come.
Make sure he pays his tithes at the door. Yeah. I mean, going back to the article that you wrote, you know, where you're explaining about, they say that the barrier comes down between the living and the dead realm, and it thins. Yeah. Well, there's the first lie right there, because we know that the barrier between the living and the dead realm is unbreakable, right? The most I wouldn't set something up for it to fail once a year. Yeah, that would be ridiculous, right? Because we know that we've spoke about this, about ghosts and whatnot, and spirits, and we know they are really demonic. You know, there are no dead people that come back as ghosts. Yeah, it's, you know, once you're dead, you're dead, right? And this is what demons and the fallen angels take advantage of. You know, people that don't bother to read the Bible, they don't understand, and you know, they'll believe anything that the world tells them about what spirits are and demons. And that's why so many psychics and so many channelers and so many people that partake in seances are completely and utterly deceived.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, you know, people coming back from the dead, and that's true. We're told in Hebrews verse 27, we're told that it is appointed unto man, but after that is judgment. Nobody comes back. You know, we're actually told in the Bible that we're to have no association with the dead.
None.
They're gone, guys. You know, I mean, there's no, you know, this veil that they're talking about is not the veil crossing over to the dead. This is the veil crossing over into another dimension, with the demonic dimension. There's no such thing. Just like there's no such thing as aliens, there's no such thing as ghosts. Satan will make you believe you're seeing a loved one, but that is a familiar. He knows what your loved ones look like, so he comes back and he has his minions come back. Those are what you're seeing. That is not your loved one, because like I said in Hebrews 9:27, it says, "To man wants to die, but after that is judgment." There's nowhere in the Bible that says that once you're dead, you come back to life.
I had this argument with. Someone needs to turn their down. Is that you, EJ?
It is me.
I had this argument with a friend of mine's girlfriend, who was a channeler of sorts, and she said, she said that all this nonsense, yeah, and she explained that she'd contacted Jesus, and I'm like, how did you do that? She goes, oh well, I channeled him. I said, you can't do that. She goes, oh, you bloody born again Christian. I goes, I'm not a born again Christian. Yeah,
Right.
I'm a believer, right? But I read my Bible.
See?
Right? Oh no, the Bible's wrong. Well, you can't, and then she blocked me, and then
Yeah.
for some reason,
Yeah.
6 months later, she
Satan is the ultimate deceiver. He's the ultimate liar.
yeah.
He's going to tell you what you want to hear. Before we go any further, I want to welcome EJ Clinton, Factions of Freedom. Hello, my great co-host and friend. How you doing?
Salutations, my friend. Salutations, Lori. Salutations, Robbie. How are you guys?
Greetings. Yeah.
Doing great. We really haven't gone far. We just came on. I just read an article that's up on the screen, pretty much just giving a background of Halloween that I wrote a couple years ago, and it just goes on to tell about jack-o'-lanterns, and Pomona, which is her bobbing for apples. So basically, we just kind of threw out a couple of scriptures and stuff. We haven't really gotten going yet. I'm really glad you joined us because I was afraid that you weren't going to join us tonight, and I know that you've been planning this, and this is something that you've actually your take on this whole thing is kind of different than Robbie's and I's, but on the same page, correct?
Yes, very much so. I wouldn't say it's whenever you would hit me up about doing an episode, I think I phrased it wrong. Whenever I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it in defense, and I definitely came off wrong.
Yeah, because I was like, define defense.
No,
because you're like, I want to do it from an angle of the defense, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
No, an angle of defense is basically like, offensively taking things into your hands. Like, while people are out here basically celebrating, the world being finished, or the veil being finished and the world's coming closer together, i.e. dressing up, while people are practicing these types of rituals, I feel like people should be practicing their own types of either incantations, their own kind of spells, their own kind of warding things, their own kinds of prayers, something where it's in defense of the actual energy that's actually leaking in because of the activities that are taking place. Like my whole stance on it is, we're very much aware of this time period, of October, of Samhain, of Halloween. We're very much aware of the lore that comes with it. And to have everything kind of culminate, especially this time period, because I've definitely been keeping an eye on the Satanists, all these people that are doing all that, and we'll get into that later on. This whole year's basically been a weird Halloween as far as I look at it energetically, and I feel like that's a representation, like I said, of this year. So my angle for this episode is how we can offensively combat all of this satanic energy, this negative energy, this otherworldly energy that's coming in, and basically what we can do about it.
Cool. Excellent. Cool. Now, I did mention that the veil. You mentioned the veil also. I mentioned the veil. Now, this veil that we're talking about is, can you kind of explain what that is?
Yes. Well, I can explain it from my point of view. I guess what it basically is whenever I'm saying that the two worlds are closest, the physical world, the living world, and the spirit world, the spiritual world, the veil is what keeps us, I guess, apart to a degree. And if anything, if you want to look at it in a weird way, this is what CERN and other sorcerers, Luciferian Satanists, and other techno-sorcery things like that, that's what they're trying to break, is that buffer zone between our worlds, between the living world and between the spirit world, where all these monsters, creatures, demons, spirits, where they come from. Because it even says in the Bible that we're set aside from other states of existence. We're the favorite. Demons are made of smokeless fire, i.e., the jinn, and we're made from earth. We're made from here. whenever they're separating these worlds, those veils are the different parts of planes of existence that can be interacted with. And the lore goes right now in October, it is thinnest. This is why people dress up, is so that they do not get recognized by these spirits when they are merging into this world and are brought back into the spirit world.
Exactly, exactly. And I was explaining to people that this veil is not into the realm of the dead, but rather into another dimension where the demons and the fallen angels reside.
Yes. Yes.
And I also reminded people that in Hebrews 9:17 that it is unto man to die one time, and the dead don't come back. If ghosts aren't real, just like aliens aren't real. That if you see a ghost and it's of your loved one, it's because Satan knows what your loved one looks like. He comes back, and we're told. I even gave you guys the verse when I was reading my article about familiars. Familiars are what is familiar to you.
Mm-hmm.
Have no association with that, along with wizards and witches and necromancers, and we're to have no association with the dark.
If people want to get a resource to look at to kind of validate what you're saying, look into Roger Morneau. He's got
Roger Minot. Roger Minot. Oh yeah, did some extensive research on that guy.
Yeah,
What's his name again? Roger who?
Roger Morneau. Roger Morneau.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right.
It's
Roger
French.
Morneau.
It's a kind of French-sounding name. Yeah.
Yeah.
He done a series of interviews. I mean, he was invited to join the so-called Illuminati, in I think it was in Canada. Was it in Canada or somewhere? Many decades ago, and he went to seances, and they channeled spirits, demonic spirits, and at one point I think they actually summoned Lucifer himself.
Mm-hmm. That's why whenever you're talking about familiars, spirits that are familiar to people, whenever they're calling forth these spirits, Roger Morneau talks about that as well. How they're conducting these seances, these rituals, and then boom, 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 they feel a great good big gust of wind, and then a familiar voice enters the room and says, "Hello, Frank. How are you?" And then they have a private conversation. But this is all deception, because these demons are playing off of an image, off of a memory that's already been
playing off of memory. Okay, I do have it pulled up. Roger Morneau was a Christian author who wrote on prayer and the supernatural. He was he was a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Oh, he was. Yes, he was for a while. But he had some great information. In fact, some of the stuff that he was actually referring to was quite chilling in his account. Yeah,
he had them. It has dangerous encounters with the elite occult group, the testimony of Roger Moreau, on the physics page, www.cultofphysics.com. I'll put it up for you guys in the chat room so you guys can take a look at this.
There's lots of clips on YouTube of what we're describing here.
Yeah, it's really for me, to hear all that kind of stuff, and for him to just recall it so casually, and to have so much information. My God, to have so much information on just like different types of rituals, different ways they're doing things, and who they're involving. For me, that was just solid information back to back.
He was another guy. He was another one that sold. I was sold. Right, when I listened to him, I mean, they tried to denounce him and debunk him and whatever, but when you sit and you listen to him for a few hours, right? This guy's for real. This guy, you can't make the stuff up that he's talking about.
You can't. You really can't. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
I actually had speaking of Roger, I actually had him like in one of the videos I put up lately, to where, I don't know if you guys saw, but Angelina Jolie had like an Illuminati sex tape type of thing coming out, where she talked about killing her snake or something or rather, and then released like a sex list, like all that kind of stuff like that. I used Angelina as like a poster child, basically, for what Roger Morneau was talking about.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, Angelina.
And she's rotten to the core.
Well, I mean, we already know, like, I'm sure, a lot of people are very much aware of like how satanic Hollywood is. But it's like whenever you have somebody as old as old as Roger over here talking about these types of things, talking about the things that are still being carried on today, and
Mm.
if anything, how they haven't, they've changed, how they've grown, how they've adapted, that should show you something. And then we have people like Angelina Jolie just infecting the entire next generation of people to just be salty, to just be scandalous, to just be, degenerates basically. It's, I don't know, there's all kinds of different things that you have to look at when you look at the entertainment industry and the occult. Um, and what I basically get from it is that they're one and the same. A lot of the stuff that goes on in Hollywood is, as we all know, very 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 evil, very very malicious, and very very dangerous. Because right there with Anton LaVey, he even messed around with people in Hollywood, saying that the television was one of the best satanic tools ever, and how that it would help them
Right.
achieve their ultimate goal of just spreading Satanism across the world. And then he mess around with, who was it? Not Frank, not Frankie. I forget who he messed around with. In Hollywood, he messed around with Marilyn Monroe,
Oh God, he
Marilyn
messed around with a
Manson.
lot of them. Yeah, he did. He
Yeah,
did.
and he was just spreading it. He was spreading LaVey Satanism, and that stuff didn't stop. It definitely just transformed. It definitely just like transformed what it was doing, and if you ask me, they've become a lot more covert and at the same time overt in how they're doing things. But we're not
That's right.
talking about Hollywood this
Notice,
episode.
notice during the Halloween season, the first, within a month or so of Halloween, Hollywood puts out a lot of the horror flicks
Mm-hmm.
for
Well,
a purpose. I mean, I've talked about this before on the show, where they have to telegraph their punches. And the reason why they do it is because once we know what our fate is, it produces a reaction out of us, whether it's fear, stress, whatever that is, but they feed off of that energy. That is what the whole horror genre is about, is feeding the beast.
mm-hmm.
We watch this, we get scared, and they feed off of that energy. So you'll notice that there's a real uptick in the movies released during right around this time, Christmas time too.
They let out what they came out recently with the Ouija board movie, and I mean, I know they're cheap Hollywood not really cheap Hollywood movies. They're just Hollywood movies doing typical stuff. But it's like the like you said, the message, what they're trying to tell us, what they're actually trying to do.
Yeah.
Uh, I definitely believe that media can be used as a medium. I'm sure there are some shows, some things that they do say and do where they actually enchant the actual media that people are absorbing. Like cat based.
They do.
Oh, go ahead.
They put in the incantations, guys. Here's the thing: is that first of all, the English language is one of the most occultic languages out there. And when we spell our words,
Yep.
spelling, a spell, an incantation,
Mm-hmm.
just the words they use in these. And yes, they do cast spells onto the actual movie itself. It's crazy. Even the music that they use.
Yeah, I listened to an interview of a couple of people. I can't actually remember their names, but they actually went into the whole of the English language and why it's satanic to the core. That everybody that speaks the language, every time you are speaking something, you are casting a spell of lower magic within each
Right.
word, course, you know,
You see,
Yes.
dialect.
That's why I have a problem with these pastors like Joel Osteen, who firmly believes and teaches his congregation that if you say it and you believe it, you can wish it into existence.
Well, it's a law of attraction.
Law of
yep.
attraction. Absolutely.
That's why I firmly believe that where energy goes, where attention flows. Your words have power. Your words have meaning. You know, you can't say things and they don't have weight, basically.
Right.
Right. Power of like the tongue.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Up on the screen, I have it's a quote from Anton LaVey, and it says, "I'm glad that Christian parents let their children worship the devil at least one night out of the year." What do you guys think of that quote?
I think it's very ballsy. I think it's kind of tongue in cheek when he's saying, "Oh, I'm glad they let them do it one day out of the year," knowing that they probably do more things where they do worship the devil more than one day in the year, you know. But the fact that he's saying that means that I already have your child for one night, and I can wait for them to get ready to come see me, basically.
Right. Right. One day out of the year, I don't have to seek them out; they seek me out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he probably said that just 5 minutes out of the door to go and do a sacrifice for Sammy Davis Jr. He was another disciple of the Church of Satan.
That's who it was, Sammy Davis Jr. That's who Anton LaVey was hanging out with outside of Marilyn Monroe. Ah, I knew it. I knew it.
Because I knew it would come to me.
It came to me. I knew it. It was a black jazz singer. I knew it, and it just like went right over my head. I don't even know why I didn't.
They were all at it. They were all at it. Sammy Davis Jr., Little Richard.
Yep.
All of them, all those big stars back in the 50s and 60s and 40s and all that. Yeah, they were all involved in some part of the occult. Yeah, and there is lots and lots of research, especially on YouTube. Yeah, going into the satanic Hollywood of going all the way back. Yeah, because we know what the actual name Hollywood means. You know, we know where
the wand of a holly tree.
Set it up. We know the agenda. Yeah, but also there's a lot of information about the stars that were involved in it as well. So don't think that it's now, you know, it's all the Jay-Z's and Beyonce's and all that have suddenly just become involved in the occult and they've got to do all these sacrifices. This is going back generational.
Yep.
Right.
It's amazing how, you know, the amount of information is out there for people.
Well, tell them, go out there and go look up John Todd. He actually talks about basically what spurred this whole derailing is whenever we're talking about these Satanists, these Luciferians, these occultists, whenever we talk about them trying to enchant albums, trying to put spells and cast demons onto people via music. And if you think that stopped just because, you know, it was in the 70s or information got locked or leaked out, no, I'm here to tell you, you know, that's because the information got leaked out, because we were aware of their tactics. This is why they diversified their types of things. This is why they diversified their tactics. This is now why we have shows like Lucifer coming out. This is why we got all kinds of other crazy stuff going on. Like it's part of an organized agenda to demoralize you, to take away your faith, to take away the idea of God, basically, to destroy any kind of wholeness that you would want to have, any kind of moral structure, moral stability, and they want to take that from you. It's crazy because, you know, you listen to the music, you listen to the lyrics, you listen to everything else that the synthetic media is telling you, and it's all anti-God, it's all anti-righteousness, it's all anti-life. It's crazy. I'm telling you.
Exactly. So let me ask you guys, we know that we as Christians, you know, really seriously, we should not be celebrating Halloween. What do you think about well, you know what? Hold on a second. I'm going to play you guys something real quick. We're going to play you a video real quick. Oops. I keep forgetting I got this one in a different... So we're going to do a screen share. Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Google Hangouts must have done an update. That was new.
All right.
You went all weird then. What happened then?
I want you guys to watch this real quick, and I want you to give. It's only. Huh?
You got a little bit fuzzy whenever you're
Hello?
talking about the update.
Hello. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
You. I can hear you. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you went a little bit like you just walked out of the galaxy.
Oh, okay.
I'm back.
Can you hear me good enough now, though?
Oh, pretty much.
Oh, pretty much. Okay. All right. Okay, so I want to play this for you guys, and I want your take on it. It's only like 4 minutes long, but I want to get your opinion on it, and the people in the chat room, I want to get their opinion on it too.
Good. How are you guys going to church here? Oh, good. Wonderful. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, there's the same.
I saw that.
Hey, you guys go to church here?
Actually, one of the pastors here.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Nice.
Pastor Lynn.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. This is my husband Ron.
Oh, hello, Mr. Pastor. Nice to meet you.
Trick or treat. Help yourself.
Hey, do you know who this is?
Oh, sorry.
All right. Okay, dear.
That was the best one. Hey, you guys go to church here? Ah, this is usual.
Nice.
Looks like death. Celebrate it. What do you think Jesus would think about this? Wow, he must have changed his way out of the Bible. Hello, you go to church here too?
No, I'm
Good.
visiting permission.
One normal person. Check that out of the world. She wins the contest. You go to church here? Oh, what do you do here in the church? Oh, wonderful. Oh, look at that. How, yeah. What do you think Jesus would think about this?
What do I think Jesus would think?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Do you know what Halloween really stands for? Death. What does Jesus stand for?
Life.
Right. So why would what the Bible says, come out from among them and separate yourself, touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you to myself. That's what the scriptures say. Okay, so I just wanted to know if you're interested to see how the church has gone, the way the church has gone when Jesus rebuked them in the last days about the lukewarm church. So you have the hot or cold or lukewarm, I'll spew you out of my mouth. Now I'm not judging nothing. I'm just survey of churches. The other church around the corner, they got a pumpkin patch going on. So
We're having a good time.
okay, have a good time.
Just like the other people take Christmas and turn it into Santa Claus, we're taking Halloween and turning it into.
Bye. Other people are the world, though, not Christian. There's a remnant that hasn't bowed their knee to Baal. Do you know that? And there's a way that seems right to the man that the end that brings forth death. Do you know that?
Yes.
Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. What you're doing is not a follower of Christian. Barack Obama says he's a Christian, but he's far from a Christian. You know my disciples by their fruits. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, neither can a bad tree produce good fruit. So the fruit you're producing is bad fruit. So you got to check your Christian walk.
All right.
It's just the Bible, man. No, it's the Bible. That's the Word. And Jesus' Word is alive, and it's a double-edged sword. And I want to see my. It says the blind lead the blind right into the ditch. God bless you.
God bless you.
Hi, you go to church here too?
I do.
Oh wow. What do you think? Do you think Jesus likes this? Oh yeah. It's not the Jesus I know, but have a good time. Hi, do you go to church here? You guys go to church here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
What do you think of that, guys?
Do you know what I think? I think this is where mainstream Christianity needs a real smack on the back of the legs with a ruler. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like, wow.
Yeah,
They-
I
don't
saw
know what-
that. I saw that, and you know, especially when I saw the pastor, you know, having the mask on. And I want to reread something to you guys that I read at the top of the show. Deuteronomy chapter 18, 9 through 13 says, when thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or daughter pass through the fire, or that uses divination, observer of the times, enchanter, a witch, a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. Touch not an unclean thing, guys. Robbie, EJ, let me ask you a question. So much in Christianity, but I know in the Muslim faith, and I know in the Jewish faith, what do they do with dead bodies? How long do these dead bodies stay out, invisible, and touchable before they're disposed of?
Well, they've got to be buried within 24 hours.
Why is that? Do you know?
According to custom.
Because they're unclean.
Yep.
They bring disease.
Yeah.
They're unclean. The spirit has left those bodies. There's no reason. We're told in the Bible that we're to have no
contact with the dead.
No contact with the dead, you know.
When you're dealing with a dead body, right, the Bible says in the Old Testament that you're unclean for 7 days.
Right. Exactly. You know, and watching these people celebrate this. Now, my question was, before we went on to that, what do you think about these parents that say, we don't celebrate Halloween, we celebrate the fall festival? To me,
what is the fall?
to me, I just kind of take a step back, and I don't usually say it out loud, but I think back in my head, it's the same thing.
It's just, for me, you know, I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, all right, how many, is this a 501c3 church? First off, is this somebody that's actually teaching the word, or is this somebody that's there for a paycheck, spying on its members? Secondly, are these people who actually believe in the word, believe in it, actually understand what it is they're involved in, their role? And then thirdly, I'm looking at it like, what are these people being taught? What information are they getting? Do they even truly care, you know, themselves about the spiritual implications? Because that's basically what we're looking at whenever we're looking at people giving the devil a foothold into their life. Whenever they celebrate Halloween, whenever they do things like this, you're basically giving our adversary, the devil, his chance to work or worm his way into your life. And like most things, you know, like an addiction, you know, like a hatred towards somebody, toward like anything, you know, it's always gradual. It's going to start off very small. And if you're, think about it like this, you know, like I said, I've been documenting these Satanists since the start of the year. Like, demonic possession is up on the rise, guys. I could tell you that for sure. It's up in demonic possession is up in Italy. Demonic oppression is up in France. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Can I tell you guys an observation that I made? Somebody, I don't know if it was you the other day, or if somebody did a post, and it was talking about how exorcisms and demonic possession was up an astronomical number. I can't even think of it right now, in Italy. And I said, isn't it funny how that's where the Vatican is?
I have thought about that as well, and I'm glad that you brought that up, that distinction, because whenever we're looking at demonic possession, any kind of affliction like that, this is not nearly. It's not only a Catholic thing. It's not a Christian thing. It's not a Hindu thing. It's not a Muslim thing. Like, whenever I say demonic possession, I mean the affliction from the dark side is up dramatically. Like, you can it's not just a Catholic people being possessed. You know, I have clips of people in Indian in Hindu garb, basically going through a citywide mass exorcism. Like, there is, from all different walks of life, there are massive numbers of people who are suffering this kind of affliction. And like I said, it's not, I'm not sure, you know, it's definitely not the time period. It's definitely not October, because this has been happening all throughout the year. You know, that's why we have Satanists out here in Arkansas. That's why we have Satanists in Massachusetts and Boston. That's why we have them doing rituals out there in California. That's why they're doing all this stuff, is because they're seizing and stepping into this power they feel all this negative energy that's been just leaking out this year, and they're trying to absorb it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well,
Because
they're seasoning the pot ready for the main meal.
they are, and it's crazy because
Absolutely.
you can see it. I don't know if you got I document it. So whenever these people are out there, doing these freaking rituals, that trips me out, because we already have a population that has been demoralized, that is basically atheistic, doesn't even care about their spiritual side, is entirely immoral, and this is perfect. This is the perfect breeding ground for demons. This is exactly where they would want to go. You don't think that
Well,
Absolutely.
you don't think that they would want to come into a body that hates everything, that wishes nothing but ill will towards its fellow man? That is the designation of a demon. And we're sitting here feeding them by not
Right.
fighting it back, by not knowing the word, not knowing any kind of way to defend ourselves. We're it's like an open feeding frenzy out here for these demons, because of
It is.
how we have been. And whenever we start things like this, whenever we come in to angles like Halloween, don't even get me started. Why do you think people are out there biting people's faces off? Come on.
Yeah.
This is not the actions of a normal human being. This is the actions of people who are demonically charged, who are demonically possessed or oppressed, who are afflicted from the dark side. And it's because it's going up exponentially because of the lack of faith, the lack of values, the lack of morals, and the lack of just mental fortitude and spiritual strength that we have these days. And it's because we have to look at things like this and understand the tactics of the devil to truly understand how he's trying to affect us. I'm coming down off my soapbox. I'm sorry.
No, while you're talking, I was remembering it was on your page that it was a post, and it was something that you and I had both, I guess we both got notifications at the same time. For those of you that don't know, on Facebook, Factions of Freedom is EJ's page. I'm also an editor over there. So I got a notification that he had put a post up, and it was talking about how it says, let me put it up on the screen here for you. Oops, God, keep forgetting I'm doing that. Let me put it up on the screen for you guys. The post. You don't mind if I do that, do you, EJ?
Oh no, go ahead. I actually love it whenever I check the comments. I'm like, I swear to God, I do not remember saying this. And then I remember, oh, Lori's here too.
I mean, that's funny.
Oh my
I don't
God.
remember saying that. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's even more funny whenever people actually like tag you, whenever they're just like, Lori, did you see this? And you're like, I'm actually an admin over here. So yes, I did.
Yeah, a couple people do that. When I've shared some of your stuff, they're like, or what happens is I'll share it to my page, not realizing that I have to change the settings. like if I post it on my page on Facebook, on my personal page, and somebody comments, if I go to just out of the blue just to comment back, it will comment as Factions of Freedom, or it'll comment as the Ultimate Hebrew, or it'll comment as ESWG.
Yep.
And I changed the settings. So here I am talking to them, and they're, I've had people message me going, "Is that you?" Yeah, that's I don't even remember anymore. But anyways, this was it. You posted, it says, note, I've been trying to put this video together for an entire week. I hardly ever get sick, and now I'm suffering from a debilitating head cold. By the way, are you feeling better?
I'm starting to.
You
Thank
sound
God
a
for
little
ginger tea.
You sound better.
Yeah.
As well as other personal issues which have surfaced. Call coincidence, but it's what happened. Diabolical possession is on the rise. We have after school Satan being offered to children under the guise of or rationalization, with rituals being conducted openly, as well as people who are suffering affliction from these malevolent beings. 2016 truly is the year of these monsters. These monsters come out to play. Could it be that it's October? Halloween is right around the corner. Number of exorcisms has been rising sharply in Italy, with some 500,000 Italians requesting an exorcism each year, and not nearly enough exorcists to meet the rise in demand, according to recent reports. The Archdiocese of Milan in northern Italy has doubled the number of its exorcists, while the exorcism hotline has been launched in Rome, but these in the field claim it isn't nearly enough. I believe it was in 2013-14, the Roman Catholic Church put on another 500 exorcists to accommodate, which they said was going to be the rise in demonic possessions. And I thought it was pretty funny, because when I saw this and I started talking, and I said, there's somebody that knows that I'm an admin, but it says, I said, is it any coincidence that it is in Italy, home of the Roman Catholic Church, experiences high number of possessions? And then, another person came on, tagged me. I don't know if she knew that I was an admin or if she just tagged me. But
Like, Lori, look.
Lori, look, I always have these. Lori, look at this. And then all of a sudden, I'm searching for a meme that I had made a long time ago that keeps popping up every once in a while. And I was trying to find it. I was on my phone, and I have so many pictures saved in my phone that it takes me forever to find anything. But I go back, and EJ has already posted what I wanted to post.
Yep.
And this here is Pope Paul IV in 1972. He gave a speech, and he admitted that from some fissure of the smoke of Satan has entered the temple of God. So it only seems fitting that in Italy that we're seeing the spike in demonic possession.
I've definitely thought about that as well. Like, because they try to keep all of their exorcism techniques to themselves, their own. They try to keep it. They try to keep their rights to themselves. What if, whenever people like George Pell whenever they go out to check on satanic ritual abuse victims and abuse victims, whenever they go to check on these people who are afflicted, are they basically, doing like a survey? Are they checking to see if these people actually know anything? Are they collecting demons? Are they conversing with demons? Like, we know that the Catholic Church, that the Vatican, has already paid $6 million in child molestation lawsuits. So for them to be going out across the world with all this money and conducting these rituals and either capturing or releasing spirits, it's not a far-fetched thought to think.
Exactly. Now, going back to churches celebrating Halloween.
Yes.
I have a real problem with that.
Yes. It's like I said, with the 501c3 churches, these are CIA government ran churches. They don't care about, your spiritual salvation or anything like that. They're literally just there to make sure you don't know anything. They try to keep them in a state of subservience and blind ignorance, And as far as them celebrating Halloween, Samhain, they don't know. They don't know. Therefore, that's these people literally just being spiritually left open, unguarded.
I see it.
I don't know if it's relevant to the show, but I've just sent you a link to two. Well, it's in two parts. All right, it's actual because we're talking about demonic possession and stuff as well. It's a live radio broadcast, right, of a girl ringing up a pastor live on air who's actually possessed, and he actually performs the exorcism live on air.
Oh wow!
And then on the second part, because it's in two parts, and it's only like the one's about 6 minutes, the other one's about not 9 minutes. He brings the mother on air, live on air, and she's possessed as well, and she's going to kill the girl, the daughter, right? Oh, it's something else. It was part of my research, but it's just as you were talking about it, I'm like, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, so I just pulled it up. I thought you might want to play.
I have a serious problem when it comes to watching those things, and I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Because when an exorcism is performed,
yeah,
the demon is not destroyed.
Yep.
It just goes somewhere else.
Very true.
Yeah. This was very, very long time ago. It was, well, not a long time ago. It was about, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago.
You should send that to me, Robbie. And on the note of
Yeah,
Lori, to concur with Lori, I definitely agree. Whenever they were filming the new The Exorcist TV show, what I thought was even more crazy, I thought that very same thing. Whenever they cast out these demons, where do they go?
Elsewhere.
They go elsewhere. Are they in, like we were saying earlier at the
Well,
start?
you've got to remember, right, that when the Nephilim, the Raphaim, the sons of the fallen died, yeah, the the spirit out of them didn't return to the source. Yeah, they became the demons of the earth, and they were locked away. They were sent down into the depths, but 10% were allowed to stay on the earth. And these are the ones that are the demons that roam the earth now as, you know, spirits or pose as ghosts or demons. You know, they are the demonic spirits, basically.
Yeah, quote unquote aliens, quote unquote ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like,
so now, let me ask you guys. Robbie, you're right around my age. EJ, you're still a youngster.
What?
I won't hold it against you though.
I take it as a compliment.
You're wise beyond your years. You're definitely. Let me ask you both this question. I'm going to put it to Robbie first, and then EJ. Did you ever mess around with Ouija boards when you were younger?
No, I didn't. But I was given the I was actually given the opportunity to, and for some reason I decided not to. Yeah, it was touch and go. We was about to do one, and I was like, no, thank you. For some reason, I knew back then when I was a kid. I'm talking about like when I'm like 14 or 15. Yeah, I knew they were not to be messed around with because, well, I knew my within my family, I knew that my grandma's sister, my great aunt, right, was into black magic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'd known from a young age, from when I was about 6, 7, right, about what black magic was, or as it described to me and stuff. You know, I can actually remember sitting in the room in the house with my grandma and my mother back in 1974. Right, I was 4 years old, and they're sitting there having an argument over the Bible, right? And I remember that the actual conversation came up about my great aunt being into black magic and witchcraft,
Oh, wow.
right? I can still remember the conversation to this day. Yeah, and on top of that, finding out that my dad was a Freemason. Right, and he actually got a Freemason's ring, which you don't get them unless you get up to the higher levels, unless he stole it. I doubt it.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
They don't give those. They don't give those away to first, second, third, fifth, 10th degrees. You're pretty well.
You don't find them in a cracker box, you know. You don't find them in a cornflakes box.
You should.
That's for sure.
With tokens and shit, yeah. You know, you have to go through the degrees to get that. But yeah, going back, yeah, the Ouija board and that. No, I didn't know.
What about you, EJ?
No. I actually did not mess with any Ouija boards, but I can tell you a story of whenever I was a kid and I was living in Australia, and I did dabble in some magic, but it was for the ladies. So I don't know if you want to hear that story.
Uh-huh.
Are we talking sex magic, or are we talking spells to get them to like you?
I don't need any spells, Lori. Okay, no, seriously though, it wasn't love spells. It wasn't anything like that. It was totally it was black magic. I wanted to control fire. I wanted to do stuff like that. I was a huge anime nerd, huge comic book nerd, and I thought, hey man, I believe, so why not? And I met a group of girls there, and they were into some magic. And
charmed, I'm sure.
I'm not sure where this is going.
It's PG-13.
I'm not either, but let him go.
It's PG-13, I swear.
I dabbled in hypnotism once, yeah, and I hypnotized a couple of girls and people at school. I went on a holiday experience to a holiday camp, and there was a hypnotist live on stage. And I went home and performed it on someone, and it is dangerous. You don't want to go there with that, yeah, because you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, but there you go. There's a form of magic, Hypnotism comes from the occult.
True.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, I just ended up trying to, just dabble with mastering fire, with trying to master elements and stuff like that. Just trying to, I guess, understand the nature of fire, understand the nature of the elements, try to guide them. And it wasn't until later that I found out I did have power, but not the power that I was being shown, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Absolutely. Satan is a great, he's a liar. He shows us things that uh, he knows will lure us into other things.
And
Um,
I've seen some stuff. Like I have definitely seen some stuff that I can't
absolutely.
explain.
I've seen my share. I'm not shy with about my past. People that know me, I've said it before on the show. I've had videos made about me trying to throw my past up in my face. But here's the thing: is your past is your past. Once you are born again under Yeshua, you are a new person, and the only person that throws your past up in your face is Satan himself.
Mm-hmm.
I've put out videos. Back my daughter's father, she's 16 now. Back when I met him in '99, he was a follower of Crowley. He was a follower of LaVey. Was he a Satanist? I wouldn't say he was a Satanist. I would say he was more of a um,
Dabbler.
well, well, let me just, I don't even know what he was, but let me put it this way. That's when I started doing my readings. I started reading the Quran. I started reading the Talmud. I started reading other religious books. I read the Satanic Bible. I even read the Vampire Bible, to believe it or not.
Hmm.
And so I started, getting involved in this. I had just got online. I got a brand new computer. I was going into the Yahoo chat rooms and going just into the Wicca, the pagan, the vampire communities in there, and met a girl who was a Wicca. We got to be very good friends, and so I did get pulled into that for a bit, for a moment. And I started my grimoire, my book of magic. I did have that, which
Mm-hmm.
was more like an herb book, to tell you the truth. I mean, I knew which herbs to use for which. I had my different color charts, different color candles that you use. I did have I'm going to admit, I did have an altar in my house. But it was weird because um, it felt empowering, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of what you felt, EJ, when you're talking about with the girls? It was more empowerment.
Yep. More empowerment, more control, and if it was
Yeah,
false enlightenment, if you want the truth.
right. False enlightenment, exactly. And here's the thing, guys, is I was trying to fill a void that I had in my life, not realizing that I had already had it filled from the time I was a young child when I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and had fallen away from it. And getting back to it, I've repented. Absolutely. I've gotten everything. I don't have any of those things anymore. I won't even, like Robbie gave me that video, watch exorcism videos, because I know that those spirits have to go somewheres.
Yep.
And I'm careful, guys. I'm real careful on what I do online, because uh, you and I've talked about this, EJ. We did a show on it about technology and how it's
Techno-Sorcery.
portals. That's right, Techno-Sorcery. And if you guys haven't seen that show, it's over on EJ's channel. Really good show he did.
We should do a part two.
And
I actually have some notes I want to send you. I was actually thinking about doing a part two.
I would love to do a part two on that. It was such a good show. It was such good information that we put out there. But we realize that the holes that we're looking to fill in our lives can be filled, or are filled, with something more than Satan, who's just the father of lies and
Yes.
deception. You know.
I'm glad.
So,
Can I say something real
but
quick?
yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me. Sorry. No, I was just going to say I'm glad that you said that, because just real quick on the techno sorcery aspect, the same way we're looking at this 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 magic aspect of things, the occult, and how that's real to some degree as well, but how it's like a drug, and it entraps you and it makes you want to do more, to where you bring in others, to where it's a vicious cycle. Technology is the same way. That has that same kind of mysticism to it, This is why we have an entire generation addicted to Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. That is that mysticism that machines do have, and it is also it's akin to to technology, to sorcery as well, because of the implications it has to rip you from this reality, to absorb your personality, to absorb your human essence, and that is both what they are designed to do: sorcery as well as technology.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. The the idea that, when we're looking at all this stuff, like I keep trying to reiterate, they diversify their tactics. They're really changing how they go about things. The idea that with psychic repetition, whenever people are playing video games where all you do is spawn, kill, die, you know, and you do that for about 8 hours, the psychic repetition of that is basically going to desensitize you and turn you into a freaking nutcase, to where you've lost your humanity, but you've gained about 17 levels on Call of Duty. So you tell me which is worth it.
Right. Exactly. 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 So, um, what are your plans for Halloween this year?
You know what? Everybody's actually been asking me. I actually don't have any. I might do a show. I might have like a video. I have nothing.
Right. What about you, Robbie?
Well, I am actually somewhere on Halloween. I won't be partaking in any celebration of Halloween, but the event, call it the Halloween celebration, whatever. It's just an event. It's a rave.
Okay, so you're gonna be working that night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why have you got a show coming up? Are you going to do a show here?
No, no, no. I was just seeing, what people were doing. I don't know. I may do a show. I may do a show. I don't know yet.
I saw
I
Jeff Norton said.
I might even partake in actually come on while I'm actually in the event, and we can do a.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, Jeff Norton. Actually, we had him when we had him on over at Spitfire show. Jeff Norton said that he wanted to do something in a haunted house. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was
No,
well.
great.
I was supposed to get with Jeff, and we were supposed to. He said he had things lined up. I don't know. I actually talked to Jeff today. I've got a tomorrow night on Jeff Norton's show. Is going to be some friends of mine from the UFO International Project.
Ooh.
And yeah, I woke up this morning to a message from Jeff asking me if I knew anybody that could come on the show tonight or tomorrow, but he had 2 people cancel.
Yeah.
So I scrambled around and I got him. He wants to get Diedrich on.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Mr. Diedrich cannot do or will not do spur of the moment shows. He has to check you out first and make sure that you're legit before he'll even come on your show. So it was too short a notice. So I gave him the information for the guys over. And again, I'm actually not an editor. I'm an admin. I own half the page over at it's called Truth Seekers World. I'm not too.
I love Truth Seekers World.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I have him on
that's
my profile.
my page.
Oh, nice. All right.
Is there any
It
pies
is.
pies you don't have fingers in?
Right?
No, not really.
Right? Like, apparently I've like spent my entire like truth seeking career just like trying to meet Lori.
You probably met her. Didn't realize it.
Yeah, I'm not too active on the page only because it does go against my principles and my belief structure. But I've come to the realization, I struggled with it at first when my friend Rob asked me to join the page. And I struggled with it for a while because I thought, this kind of it makes me a hypocrite, because here I am, the Christian aspect trying to get out this. And now then I'm promoting demons and I'm promoting aliens and I'm promoting all that. But in the same sense, a lot of people I know, know that I guess, I don't know why you guys weren't in the loop. I don't know. I'm sorry. But but a lot of people know that I'm associated with that page. So when something gets put up there, you know, they'll message me, and it'll actually open up a dialect for us to talk about things. So it's actually been a blessing, and I thank Rob for including me in that. But one of the other guys that is the owner of the page, it's kind of we have a three-way going there, but Rob and there's a guy, Mike, and Mike is owner of the UFO International Project. It's worldwide. He lives over in the UK. It's a worldwide internet web page that tracks UFO encounters.
Yeah. I'm just wondering what day you're going to actually break the bad news to him.
I'm not doing it. I refuse to. It's not my job. It's not in my job description. I clearly made that clear when I signed the
You're going to have to tell him one day. You know what I mean? Like,
oh hell no!
What are you going to do? You're going to wait. You're going to do it now, or you're going to wait till
That's not in my job description.
You're going to wait till Independence Day shows up and then tell them.
Robbie, I clearly made it a part of my contract that I was not going to reveal it. No, absolutely not. I refuse to get into a sparring match with a man who believes in aliens.
Wow.
I refuse to.
If he's comfortable, everybody has their truth. If he's comfortable, you know, doing that, let him. I feel like at this point, some stuff isn't unidentifiable, but you know, hey, if that's what he's comfortable doing, we're gonna have to let him do it.
Exactly. And you know what? The truth isn't for everybody.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Even if they.
Unfortunately, it's not. So I'm going to play you guys a quick video real quick. And it's from a former witch. And she's going to talk to us about.
Is that
Halloween.
Beth?
I don't know. Short, dark hair?
Yeah. I think she's. If it's the ex-witch Beth, then yeah, she actually does have some very informative videos. That's Beth. I wanted to actually contact her to try to get her on the show, one of the shows, and then talk about it.
Oh, awesome. If you do, let me know.
Oh, most certainly.
Love to participate in that. Absolutely. So let's see if I can get it up on the screen for you guys in the chat room. And I just want to have her tell you guys a little bit about Halloween, taken it from a witch.
Miss Beth, and I am a former pagan or witch, and now a born-again Christian as of about 1.5 years ago. I have spent quite a few years being involved in the occult or witchcraft. I can call myself a pagan. Or you can also say Wiccan. And I would like to share with you about what I experienced as a witch during Halloween and what I think it means to Christians. So when I was younger, Samhain on October 31st, which is Halloween, witches or pagans, October 31st, or Samhain, that's spelled Samhai, is a high holy day in their wheel of the year. They have many Sabbats during the year, but October 31st
one of the major Sabbats.
The very special.
The minors.
Witches say that is the day where the veil is thinnest between the worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Use it to perform rituals, the dead, to their ancestors, and they just basically celebrate death. So for witches or pagans, death is not something that they fear. It is something that it is part of the cycle of life. And most witches or pagans consider that when you die, you're either reincarnated or you go on to another realm, a spirit realm, where your spirit would live on, but your physical body would have passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And so on October 31st, I have done these rituals and spells to contact the dead. You are entering into a state in the spiritual world. You're becoming a part of a spiritual realm that you cannot see with your eyes, but is there.
Mm-hmm.
And the intent is not to do harm or be negative, but I do believe that it is actually demonic without witches or pagans knowing. When I did it, I had no idea what I was really doing. It was what you do. Your high holy days and your cycle of the year and your real life, they're just what you go around, and that and the goddess. So October 31st is a huge celebration. It's also the Celtic New Year, and so it's a big celebration in winter solstice or Yule.
Mm-hmm.
I was very convicted by God that I should not celebrate October 31st, Halloween. When I was younger, I was very into celebrating the Sabbats as a witch. But as I got older and I had kids, I moved more into celebrating.
To stop it right there, she's saying a Sabbath, Sabbat, not the Sabbath.
Okay.
Just to make sure that you guys didn't misinterpret what she said. It's a Sabbat, Sabbat.
Celebrating the traditional holidays, Halloween and Christmas and Easter. But I always, in my heart and my mind, I was celebrating Samhain and winter solstice because that was what I felt was true and right. To have my kids have more of a normal growing up, so to speak. So I did when I was growing up in Christmas and Halloween. So God convicted me very strongly that I should not celebrate Halloween. I really just want to talk a little bit about that. I feel that to Christian is to really enter into ways of the world that we were not meant to do. God has told us, I am holy, and so I want you to be holy. He's told us that he set us apart. We are a special people. And when we began to start practicing in the ways of the world, then we're entering into that darkness, that dark spiritual realm that is around us, that is unseen, but it is very real. And it looks very innocent and fun as we dress our kids up in costumes and just go trick-or-treating. Fortunately, October 31st is a day where so much evil is being practiced. So we are not trying to participate and have no evil intent. We actually are being involved and participating in the evil going around. And I know it's very hard to understand that dark realm, that other side, dark spiritual force or world that's actually right around us, but very real. And if you think about stories in the Bible, even Daniel, when Daniel, I believe he's standing by the river, and Michael, I believe it was, comes and tells us, I'm sorry, I've heard your prayers, but I was fighting a battle to get here. I mean, there's stories just like that. So realm is real and it's dangerous. And to protect ourselves from entering into unintentionally this evilness, this otherworldliness that is around us, to not demons, that are out on that night, but they're out there anyway, that we are set apart and holy, that we have reverence for our God, then I believe with, all my heart, our God, our Lord and Savior, does not want us to participate in this. Now, I have no judgment for Christians or anyone Halloween, because I understand that I've been there. I've been where you are, and it seems like it's all fun. There's a lot of things that seem like they're fun. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that information with you, and hope that it might help you. So thanks.
Thank you,
Thoughts
Beth.
about
No, thank you.
Thank you, Beth. She pretty much just confirmed everything we said for like the whole episode. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I actually wanted to play that at the close of the show, because, you know, here's the thing. It's still a personal choice whether you decide you're going to celebrate Halloween or not. You know, if you call yourself a true believer, if you call yourself a follower of Yeshua, then there is no excuse, no reason for you to be celebrating it. The Bible is clear on what is expected of us. The Bible is clear on the things that the Most High calls abominations. And it is clear that this day, Halloween, is considered by the Most High an abomination. But again, it's up to you. It's a personal choice. But remember this, because you know the truth, because you have been told the truth and you chose to ignore it, you will be held to a higher accountability on Judgment Day.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to add to this, EJ?
Pray up, guys. Pray up. Learn what you're capable of. Learn the power that you do have, and do not let the devil get a foothold. Because as she was trying to say, man, you know, he'll come in and he'll say, "Hey, isn't this fun? Don't you enjoy this? Aren't you having a great time?" And then you wake up from your drug-induced coma and you're in the back of a police car with blood upon your hands, wondering what happened. So yeah, do not let the devil get a foothold, guys. Just pray up, stay strong, know your power.
Exactly. Robbie, final thoughts?
What he said. Yeah.
Do what he said. Exactly, guys. Exactly. That's so funny.
Can't really add to that.
You know, this. Are you guys gonna get some quick truth from me? I was telling Lori prior to the show, you know, as a kid, I wanted to be an exorcist or a priest. Like I wanted to be that person. What? You know, like I said before at the start of the show, I wanted to know magic. I wanted to know all things occult. I wanted to battle the dark side. You know, I wanted to do some good. And even at a young age, I was like, yo, man, like I need to help. I need to tell people the truth. I need to get the word out there. I need to be the light in the world. I don't know. Maybe it was narcissistic. Maybe it was entitled of me to think that, but at a very young age, like I knew I wanted to help people, and regardless of whatever profession, path, whatever thing I ended up doing, I was going to help it. I come from a long line of Baptist pastors from the South, and I'm out here doing my own thing. So I think it's just maybe it's like my genetics. I'm not sure, but you know, I've always been sensitive to things. I've always had paranormal and supernatural encounters with entities and other energies. Not and this and it wasn't by my choosing. That's what I keep having to reiterate. Like it was not me seeking these individuals out. It was these individuals coming to me and me seeing them. And so
Gotcha.
you really have to get a control on what you're doing, on who you are, because you're seeing things that aren't there and you're engaging things that are not there. So you have to learn how to put them in their place. And it's, you know, it's some interesting stuff, man. That's all I got. So what Beth is talking about, it's the truth. You know, you cannot give the devil a foothold, because the minute you do, like I said, you'll be coming out of your drug-induced coma like Charlie Sheen, wondering what the hell happened.
Yeah, white stuff all over your nose, blood on your hands, going, you know, and
I got tiger's blood. I'm a warlock.
Further with that analogy, but we're not going to, because it would just ruin it. So
talking about things that aren't there.
Yeah.
If anyone's interested, go on to Interestinate. It's called on Facebook. Yeah, there's a great live shot of the ISS with the CGI ball Earth. Yeah,
I saw that.
right. Yeah, you want to? Yeah,
I
I'm
saw that.
watching it right now. It's really good. You know what? It's the best CGI that money could ever buy. I swear. You know, I don't
Here's the thing, guys. We've got video games that you can't tell the difference between a human being and a cartoon character per se. Okay, but they still can't get the CGI Earth right. What's up with that?
It's the perspective. It's the GoPro, right?
It's just the perspective.
Whoa, where did that bubble come from?
That bubble. Where'd that bubble come from?
Wow,
Okay, final question of the night. Robbie, what are you doing on Halloween? You're working, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
EJ, are you going to have a show?
Hopefully, yeah. I'll try to set one up.
All right, we'll be in touch because I don't know. I may do a show. I'm not sure. We probably won't have too many viewers in here because they're probably all celebrating on Halloween. So.
We'll come back and have the truth ready for them.
Send me a link and I'll show you some Halloween people. We'll interview
there
them.
You go.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Oh, that would be great.
Yeah. Why do you do Halloween?
Yeah, I want you. We'll hook up the show. We'll set it up for Monday. You're now for those of you that don't know, Robbie, what do you do for?
No, sorry, I'm it's actually Saturday, right? I keep thinking Halloween's on Saturday because they're doing the Halloween celebration rave.
Oh, okay.
Right, actually Monday.
People know what you do. You and EJ actually have something in common. What do you do for a living?
I'm an MC and a DJ in the rave scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the UK rave scene. Yeah.
So,
actually Monday.
So Saturday night.
Yeah, we'll do a show Saturday.
So Saturday night we'll do a show, and I want you to ask people what Halloween means to them.
We'll do it live on the camera. Yeah, we'll do that. Not a problem. Yeah. And then I'll take you into some of the arenas and I'll show you some madness.
There you go. Oh, I've been to raves before. I've done that whole rave scene. Believe it or not. EJ, you're in the now. You're not in the rave scene. You're in the right.
I have raved. I used to be in the rave scene. I am currently getting out of the rave and hip hop scene out here in New Mexico, Colorado, and basically the Southwest. I'm pulling myself together, as you can probably document through my show and your show, where I have said I'm getting my life together.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry about that. The New World Order will take care of that. Yeah.
They can try. They can try.
They'll take care of it.
They can give it their A game, but I don't know.
Listen, they'll take care of the rave scene for you. Don't worry. Yeah, you watch that disappear up its own backside.
I got my own thoughts.
I don't know if you've noticed, Robbie, but the three of us here, we're pretty we've got some solid heads on our shoulders.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm curious to see. I have my own thoughts as far as what they're going to do with the rave scene.
I reckon they'll expand it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Tomorrowland and all.
Yep. Yes. Tomorrowland precisely is exactly what is what I'm thinking of. They're going to introduce all kinds of crazy stuff.
They're going to zombify the people.
Can I give you my thoughts on this?
Go on.
I'm going to give you my thoughts. What are those glasses now that Google's making where you can have, actually interact with the other alternate world?
What?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like virtual reality glasses?
Yeah.
Virtual reality glasses where you put them on and you can actually interact with another world. I think that if they did that with people in the rave scene, with the drug-induced world, I think that's where that's going. To tell you the truth.
Yeah, but they're already doing that now with the augmented reality with PlayStation 4 now.
And the Oculus.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Augmented reality. Yeah.
Well,
that's the
shaky level. Ground there, guys. Shaky ground. Shaky ground.
On that thought too, I mean, I just want to throw this in there real quick. We're in the transhumanist age and transhuman reality. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. We got 31 different genders, people doing all kinds of strange stuff, right? If they were to ever implement these hybrids or anything new, strange, or just entirely paradigm shifting, the rave scene is where it would be, man. The rave scene would eat that stuff up and think of it as perfect.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think it was our good friend Rand Saturn's Eye. He did a very good expose on the demonic portals that are opened up through the use of mind-altering drugs.
Let me go on that.
And music.
Let me take that. I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad you said that, because I believe, like, the rave scene, the whole plur thing, you know, peace, love, unity, and respect. I totally dig that. I definitely get that, you know, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for it. I'm not even talking crap about the rave scene at all. But what I'm saying is, I know, like, with Round Saturn's Eye, with all the other things that are going on, I just know how they're going to use the rave scene and how they're going to misuse all that love, all that positive energy. They're just going to use it and just co-opt it into something alchemically crazy, and it upsets me.
Yeah, it is, because, you know, I was there from almost from the beginning of the rave scene in the UK, because that's where it came from.
Yep.
You know, and I've seen it go through many metamorphoses, and you know, I'm not the first to, like Laurie, I'm not shy about coming forward about my past in the rave scene. I've taken virtually every class A drug that was going throughout the 90s. You know, everything from ecstasy to acid to magic mushrooms to ketamine.
Yeah, I remember listening to one episode where you were talking about the lethal amounts of ketamine.
Yeah, I mean, ketamine was the hardcore out of all of it. Yeah, I mean, it was. And I'm telling you, I've been to some universities on that, and to be honest, I'm glad that I shut the door on that about what we in 2016 now. It's got to be at least 15 years now since I shut the door well on that. Yeah, because, you know, as I said before,
that's good, because, you know, there's a lot of people that head down that road that don't make it back.
Yeah, there are some doors.
It's true.
Right, that are opened that should never ever be opened, because they sometimes they stay
stuck
open.
You in. They suck them in.
And that is the gateway to a very demonic realm, indeed.
Maybe
Exactly.
maybe that's one show we should do later on in the future, is discussing pharmakia and how using drugs is another form of sorcery, and how that definitely creates.
I would absolutely love to do a show like that, because there we go again. I run 2 recovery group pages.
Oh, so. Another one. Oh, okay.
Excuse me. Can I ask you? Is there any pies that you ain't got your toes in, as well as your thumbs and fingers?
Maybe this is a Lori finger free free.
Do you ever do?
I felt it was my job and my responsibility to put back forth into that whole aspect of my life, and I did. I run a recovery group. Actually, I run it with Rachel.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I come from that line of not drug addicts per se, but drug abusers, right? There's a whole generation. There's a whole generation of ravers that
you don't see me right now, but I'm raising my hand. That was me.
Well, you know, you know, I know a lot of people that are addicts and stuff, and I know a lot of people that are abusers, and I know people that don't touch anything whatsoever, and I'm like, wow, how do you manage it?
Right? How do you manage that?
You know, what's it like being normal? You know, 9 to 5.
Well, I was one of those functioning addicts. I had a 9 to 5 job. I was a functioning addict. You know, I wouldn't say I was an abuser, but I used it to function. You know, so on a daily basis to make me feel normal. Some people smoke a joint, I just smoked a bowl. Anyways, on that note, I do want to put out there that on the pages that I do run for the recovery rooms, we do put out a chair, an empty chair, every once in a while, every Friday, to remind us of the people that go back out and don't come back.
Yeah, but I think we should do a show about it, because I actually find that the legal drugs, with the exception of heroin and opiate drugs, right, are actually more safer than the synthetic drugs that they've purposely put on the market now, right? Including this flacker, right? I mean, there's nothing more demonic than that.
That's even crazy,
right? And these legal highs,
Yeah.
right? What they do is that I mean, they're quite potent, quite dangerous, right? Not saying that, not saying that illegal drugs aren't dangerous, because you know what I'm saying. But
absolutely,
what they do is they ban a certain legal high, and what they do is they change the chemical compound on it, right?
Yep.
Make it into something else. Go out and sell that.
Creighton's one that we're fighting to keep it legal now. Kratom.
I'm glad you guys are talking about this, because I actually wanted to do a separate video on this. Monsanto, Microsoft, and Bayer, they are getting together to produce corporate cannabis. And that's exactly what we're talking about right here. We have big pharma, big agriculture, and big tech coming together.
And here's the thing. What they do is just like we talked about with Halloween and how they, it opens up doorways. They, we talked about it when we talked about Hollywood, how they put spells over their music and over their movies. Okay, that's what pharmaceuticals do. They put those spells over the pharmakia, and it opens up doorways, pathways.
Yeah.
So I definitely think we need to do a show.
Get together, guys, and do a show on that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a show.
We're gonna do one on that one real soon, guys. Actually, so we're gonna end this for tonight. We're coming up on an hour and a half, and the feed's going to start deteriorating, and I don't want it to do that. I've been having running the live stream off of the tower computer and leaving my laptop for just me to talk. It's been holding up a lot better. So I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. I want to thank everybody in the chat room. Where can we find you?
You find me in that diabetic coma that I promised you. Eating all those bean cakes that I've been dreaming about. You can actually, failing that, you can find me at ESWG, Exposing Satanic World Government, and you can find me on the Ultimate Hebrew Israelite Awakening. You can also find me here most days with you.
Yeah. EJ, where can we find you?
After I get done eating all these tacos, you can find me at Factions of Freedom.
It is Tuesday, isn't it?
It is Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Woo! I'm going to get some of those clappers. Yay.
We could get some. We get some pinatas, some margaritas. We can start shaking them. It's okay. We could have a little fiesta.
Right.
You can find me on Facebook at Factions of Freedom. You can also find me on Instagram at freedom_faction, and that's where you guys can get daily news, videos, and everything else. And as well as you can find me on YouTube, Factions of Freedom, and occasionally you can find me on this awesome channel over here talking about this crazy world we live in.
This crazy world we live in. Exactly. And you can find me just all over the place, apparently. So
apparently.
Yeah. You'll find Laurie you'll find her in the bathroom shaving her head. She's going to become a Krishna.
No. Oh, heck no. Oh, guys, I'm still living down getting my hair cut. Dave reminds me about it every day. How much is your hair grown? It's not growing quick enough. Anyway, all right. I want to thank everybody in the chat room, and I want to thank all of our new subs. We're growing expeditiously every day. We're getting new subs, and we want to say that we appreciate each and every one of you. We're trying to grow a community here, not a channel, so we're doing a good job at that. I thank everybody in the chat room for joining us. Everybody watching, stay tuned. We are probably going to be on live again tomorrow. I'm not sure what time. Not sure what even this topic is going to be, but I'm sure we'll be back on tomorrow. Till then, stay out of trouble, guys. Love your neighbor. Stay vigilant.
Expose lies and share truth.
Yeah.
Amen. Bye.
Bye. I hope you guys enjoyed that edition of 3 Minutes to Midnight. It was a fantastic show, and we actually did figure out what we were going to do for the next episode. It's actually called Demons, Drugs, Pharmakia. Oh, what was it? Totally messed up. Demons, Drugs, Pharmakia, and Perception with Lori Alexander and Robbie D. We'll be doing that on my channel tomorrow, pretty much the same time. But hope you guys enjoyed this. With that being said, stay vigilant, expose lies, and share truth. This is Noisera, Freedom Faction.